Right now in California, there are buyers losing homes they already thought they were buying. Not because of the price, not because of the inspection, and not because of financing. The deal's collapsing because they cannot get insurance. And the scary part is most sellers don't even know this problem exists until they're already deep into escrow and the buyer starts panicking. I'm talking about fully approved buyers, strong offers, clean inspections, everything looking perfect. And then suddenly the insurance quote comes back double what the buyer expected. Or worse, the property becomes difficult to insure at all. And just like that, the entire deal starts falling apart. This is becoming one of the biggest hidden threats in the California real estate market right now, especially in areas near brush, fire zones, hillsides, and older homes. So today, I want to walk you through exactly how the California insurance crisis is quietly killing home sales and why sellers need to pay attention before they even list, and what smart homeowners are doing right now to protect their escrows before it's too late. Hi, my name is Rima Rafeh with the Rafeh Group with eXp Realty here in Santa Clarita Valley, Los Angeles area. And if you're thinking about selling your home in California in general, this may be one of the most important conversations you hear before you're putting your home on the market, because this issue is no longer rare. It's becoming a major factor whether escrow survives or collapse. So let's start with what's actually happening, because many sellers still don't fully understand how serious this has become. Over the last several years, California insurance market has changed dramatically. Major insurance carriers have either stopped writing new policies in certain parts of California, or restricted coverage, or left the entire areas altogether. Premiums have increased sharply. Underwriting guidelines have tightened, and homes that were once simple to insure are suddenly becoming difficult, expensive, or sometimes impossible to cover through traditional carriers. And what makes this so dangerous for sellers is that insurance is no longer just a small line of item buyer handle quietly near the end of escrow. Insurance has become a deal breaker. And that's the shift sellers needs to understand. Because today, a buyer can have excellent credit, strong income, solid down payment, and fully approved loan. But if the insurance issues becomes too expensive or too difficult, the lender may not fund the loan at all. No insurance means no loans, and no loans means no sale. And this is happening much more often than most people realize. Now let's talk about how this actually plays out in real life, because this is where sellers get blindsided emotionally. A buyer tours a home, they love it, they submit a strong offer, you negotiate terms, open escrow, and everything feels smooth. Inspections happen, appraisals come back fine, underwriting is moving along, and everyone starts mentally preparing for closing. Then somewhere around the second or third week of escrow, the buyer starts shopping for insurance, and suddenly everything changes. Maybe the quote comes back 2 or 3 times higher than expected. Maybe the property gets flagged because of brush proximity, or roof condition, or prior claims history, or fire exposure. Maybe the buyer learns they can only qualify through California Fair Plan, which dramatically increases their monthly payment. Now the buyer is stressed, now affordability changes, and now the buyers start questioning the deal emotionally. And now the seller is sitting there confused because everything seemed perfectly fine just days earlier. This is where transactions begin unraveling very quickly. Sometimes the buyer asks for a large price reduction to offset the insurance costs. Sometimes they ask for credit, and sometimes they panic and cancel entirely. And now the seller is back on the market after losing valuable time. And here's the dangerous part sellers often underestimate. Once a deal falls apart, buyers start viewing the property differently. Now agents ask, why did escrow cancel. Now buyers become more cautious. Now the listing carries emotional baggage it did not have before. This is why this issue matters so much upfront. Now let's talk about which homes are being affected the most, because not every property is impacted equally. Homes near brush or wildfire zones are getting hit the hardest right now. Many parts of Santa Clarita Valley, foothill communities, canyon areas, hillside neighborhoods, and large portions of California fall into these categories. But it's not just the location. Roof age matters tremendously right now. Many insurance carriers are heavily scrutinizing roofs over 15 years or 20 years old. Some carriers decline coverage entirely if the roof condition feels questionable. Wood shake roofs are especially difficult right now. Vegetation matters too. Trees too close to structure, dry brush nearby, attached wood fencing, poor defensible space, all of these things can increase insurance concerns significantly. And then there's claims history. Even older homes claims attached to the property can create underwriting red flags, and buyers don't discover it until escrow is already underway. Now let's talk about something sellers really need to hear. This issue is not affecting luxury homes or mountain homes anymore. It's affecting suburban neighborhoods, standard family homes. Community sellers never imagined would have insurance problems. That's why assuming your home is probably fine can become dangerous in today's market, because insurance underwriting is changing rapidly. And sometimes zip codes shift from insurable to difficult almost overnight. Now let's talk about the emotional side of this, because this part matters too. Buyers today are already financially stretched. Monthly payments are higher, rates are higher, and affordability is tighter. So when a buyer suddenly sees an insurance quote that adds hundreds or even thousands of dollars more per year to the payment, the emotional comfort they felt with the purchase starts disappearing. And once emotional comfort disappears, buyers start second-guessing everything. Now they reanalyze the home, they focus on flaws, and now they start wondering if the purchase still makes sense. That's why insurance issues are creating so much emotional instability during escrow right now. And let's talk about the California FAIR Plan, because many sellers are hearing about this more often lately. The FAIR Plan is essentially California's insurer of last resort. It exists for homes that cannot obtain standard private insurance coverage. And yes, many homes can still get insured through FAIR Plan. But here's the issue. The FAIR Plan is expensive, often dramatically more expensive than traditional insurance. And it usually only covers fire exposure, meaning buyers then need an additional wraparound policy for broader coverage. That means even if buyers technically can get insurance, the overall monthly payment can suddenly become far more expensive than expected. And this is where deals begin collapsing emotionally, because buyers may still qualify on paper, but mentally the payment no longer feels comfortable. Now let's talk about what smart sellers are doing differently, because this is where preparation changes everything. The smarter sellers are no longer waiting until escrow to discover insurance issues. They are checking upfront before listing the property. They are speaking with insurance professionals early. They are obtaining quotes ahead of time, and they are identifying potential problems before buyer ever walk through the door. This is becoming one of the smartest pre-listing strategies seller can implement in California right now. And now let's talk about practical steps sellers can take, because there are absolutely things that can help improve insurability. Creating defensible space matter. Clearing brush matters. Trimming your trees matters. Updating older roofs matters. Removing attached wood fencing matter. Documenting fire mitigation improvements can also matter. And while these things don't guarantee lower premiums, they absolutely help create stronger insurance positioning for the property. Now let's talk about transparency, because transparency is becoming critical in this environment. Sellers who already know insurance may be challenging should not hide from that conversation. In fact, proactive sellers are now preparing insurance information packages before listing. They are gathering quotes, providing mitigation documentation, and showing buyers what carriers are available on the home. That way, they're helping remove fear early in the process, because uncertainty is what kills momentum during escrow, and transparency creates confidence. Now let's zoom out, because this issue is bigger than just one transaction. This is changing buyer behavior across California. Buyers are now researching insurance before making offers in some cases. They are avoiding certain areas altogether. They are becoming more cautious about older homes, brush zones, and hillside properties. And that means sellers who ignore the shift may find themselves struggling unexpectedly later. And now let's talk about timing, because timing matters here too. Insurance availability is changing rapidly in California, and carriers are adjusting guidelines constantly. So entire zip codes can become more difficult with very little notice, which means sellers sitting on the fence about listing need to understand something important. Waiting is not automatically safe anymore, because the insurance environment may become more difficult over time, not easier. And that's another reason preparation matters now more than ever. So let's bring this all together. If you are selling a home in California right now, understand this clearly. Insurance is no longer a background issue quietly handled at the end of escrow. It's becoming one of the biggest hidden deals killers in the market. Buyers can lose affordability overnight because of insurance costs. Loans can collapse because coverage becomes difficult, and escrows can fall apart weeks into the process even when everything else looks perfect. But sellers who prepare early, understand their property's insurance profile, and proactively address concerns are protecting themselves far better in today's market. Because the sellers winning right now are not just preparing the home physically, they're preparing the transaction strategically. And that strategy is becoming more important than ever before. If you are thinking about selling a home in Santa Clarita Valley or Los Angeles area and want help understanding how insurance environment could impact your specific property, I would love to help you and guide you through the process before you list. I'm Rima Rafeh with the Rafeh Group at eXp Realty. And if this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with another homeowner who needs to hear this. And we'll see you on the next one.